Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome if it's your first time. I see my phone looks like it's a little bit not quite straight. I'm going to straighten that out a bit. Today I'm going to make a roast in my slow cooker. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm probably getting started quite late on it, but it is Sunday, October 31st, so being a Sunday, I just got home from church at 12:30. Didn't quite have time to get this going in the slow cooker before I went to church, so I'm going to do it now. And supper will just be whenever it's ready. It's been a bit of a crazy weekend around here. Today is Halloween, and it is also, normally being Sunday, I would probably have gotten this going before church, but Halloween isn't so much the issue as the fact that we have, if you know anything about me from my videos, you'll know that we have parrots. 2 of our birds took ill last night, and so there wasn't a lot of sleep to be had in the house last night. Everybody's worried about the birds and seeing how they were going to make out. Our 2 conures, Percy and Marley, took ill. Both seem significantly better today, although not completely. I'll take the lid off this. So, when my daughter finishes work, her shift was supposed to be 10 to 6:30, but we have a 5 o'clock vet appointment. I'm going to stay home and start handing out candy because kids will start coming here anytime after 5. My husband will have to pick her up at work at 4. They've modified her shift so she can leave early, but she also had to start early, so instead of 10 to 6:30, she's working basically 9 to 4. So that she can leave early. She couldn't have the day off entirely, which is okay, because it's being Halloween, some people in her apartment had booked the day off. So she couldn't just go in entirely and not go at all, which is alright. But he'll have to pick her up and drive her to the vet. So, her and the birds, that is. So 4 o'clock that will happen. He'll pick her up. About a half-hour drive to the vet's, give or take. The birds are doing better than they were last night. They pulled through the night. One is a little bit sicker looking than the other. But again, they did pull through last night, and it's better just to get it checked out. We do have several birds here. Those 2 share a cage, so it's kind of no wonder if one got sick that the other one would as well, because they do share a cage. But the problem is we have several birds, and whatever this is that happened, if it happens to be a respiratory infection or something contagious, we don't want it spreading to the other birds. So we need to get it under control now. So what I'm doing, I'm trying a new recipe. If I can find my tongs, they're right under my nose. Of course they are. I don't even know. I might just use my hand. But I'm going to sear this roast. It's like a zesty lemon lime, like a zesty lime pot roast. And what you do is you sear this, so you just brown it, put it in the pot roast, and you're supposed to use 4 cups of lemon lime pop. I was having trouble finding Sprite the other night, so I just got 7-Up. Actually, I got the Superstore store brand, which you would have seen in my grocery haul. I got the store brand Spritz Up, that's lemon lime pop, it's the store brand. So 4 cups of that, and we also have to season the roast with chili powder and salt. And it says 3 cloves of garlic, which I don't have, but I'll just use some garlic powder. So, but what I'll do is I'll pour the liquid in first, and then put the roast in, and then put the seasonings on the roast after, because if I rub the seasonings all over it first, and then pour the liquid over top, then the liquid will just we'll just rinse the seasonings right off the roast. So I'm just quickly going to just sear the edges of this, and I'm going to get this in here. I've got it on low, warming up. And we'll go from there. I mean, I'll probably have to do it on high because on low it's going to take forever. Probably won't be done till like 9 o'clock, but if I do it on high, then it'll be a little bit quicker. This roast is mostly thawed out. I feel like it's a little bit icy feeling, like a little bit cold feeling on the bottom yet. So it might not be completely through, but I've done both roasts that are thawed in the crock pot and in the oven, but also roasts that are still frozen. So I think it'll be okay. Just going to get this, see my burner is warming up, so I just got to get this browned a little bit. And then I'm also going to work on a little video, it won't take me long to get this set up because I just have to put the lemon lime pop and the spices in and let it go, and then later on I'll come back once it's done and show you how it looks. Actually, once it's all said and done, you're supposed to shred the roast in the crock pot and then take the juice of 2 limes and pour that over it and mix that in with the meat. You could probably serve it with mashed potatoes, but you could also probably just have it on buns, like on a sub bun or something like that, or a hamburger bun, whatever. So we'll see. So this probably won't be a super long video. It's a little bit of prep, and then I'll come back after to show you how it looks once it's all finished. And I am also working on a different video, which is just simply showing you the Halloween decor in the house too. So I stopped and took a little clip in the front yard after church just to show you the outside. Although the outside's not done yet really completely. That was just basically the front window. There's still some stuff that we need to put out on the front path leading up to the front steps, like that we usually put. And of course, seeing it with the pumpkin on the front steps and with the window lights lit up will look a lot nicer too. Let's see if this is even browning at all. Oh, a little bit. Yeah, let's put it back down. Let's get that browned a little bit better. Just need to brown it a little bit because that doesn't seem to brown very much in the slow cooker, right? So. But as I was saying when I started the video outside of the Halloween decorations, when I came home from church, there was actually snowflakes coming down. Which is, it's not unusual. I live in Manitoba, Canada. It's not unusual to have snow on the ground for Halloween. This snow is not sticking. The temperature is hovering, like we do our temperatures in Celsius here. So we're above 0 Celsius right now, but not by much. We'll probably only be like 5 or 6 degrees Celsius for a high today. But that's enough that even though it might be snowflakes coming down from the sky, when it hits the ground, it's just going to make the ground look wet. It's not going to stick. But quite often, in years past, we have had snow on the ground and we've had like several inches for the kids to trudge through. We've had a really unseasonably warm fall, so we've actually been quite lucky. Okay, so let's see how that's looking. Okay, do the bottom a little bit. Always fun just trying to take that redness out of the meat a little bit so it looks better. So I could put it in here just like this without searing it, but then you get that red look to the meat on the outside. I can get the edges to look a little better. That would be good. Just looks a little more appetizing. Okay, now try to get all sides if I can. Some of these are on a difficult angle to get. There we go. So we'll see. Typically, I don't know how many trick-or-treaters we normally... Last year we had none because with COVID our numbers were bad and everybody was advised to stay home, and most people did. Usually we get quite a number of kids because I used to work as a lunch supervisor at a school that's literally around the corner from our house. So usually, you know, there's that and another elementary school not far and a junior high school that's less than 10 minutes away and a high school that's close. So, and there's other schools also in our area that are not far. So we could easily get a good number of trick-or-treaters. We'll have to see. Our numbers are better this year, and being Halloween on a weekend, well, it was on a weekend last year too, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a good turnout this year. So I got my treat bags all ready. Decorations are mostly ready other than the ones that have to mark the pathway in the front yard. And that's not my job to put those up. My husband has to put those up yet. Right here. Just a couple more minutes. Trying to get all the different spots browned that need to be. Flip this one back over, and I see one edge that I want to do again. Even that one. Under here. Hard to get under this. It's a pretty thick roast. Okay, under there. That's looking, that looks better. Now, I know not everybody does Halloween because, you know, sometimes Christians don't. I do, but I also don't get into all like the origins of it. I just like to hand out the candy they taste. Especially since I work in the school system. So, anyway, this is almost brown enough for my liking. Almost. I think that's pretty good. Oh, yeah. Just on this side for another second or two, and that'll be good enough. I'm going to put this in the pot here in a minute. I have to get a measuring cup down. Okay. Alright, that should be good enough. Oops. No. Alright, we're going to get this guy in the crock pot. If I can. It's such a thick roast that we'll see how this goes. Oh goodness. In you go. Really need a second pair of tongs or something, but I don't have. Okay, good enough. Now. Alright, we're done with the oven. This is the stovetop. Let's just angle you down this way. There we go. Wash my hands a little bit. So, like I said, I'm going to put the 4 cups of lemon lime pop in first. I've seen a lot of different recipes where you can use either beer or pop of some type or other, and I never have actually done it before, so this is a first for me. But the idea of this shredded lime roast sounds really good, so I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a try. Both 7-Up or Sprite would suffice, I would imagine, as long as it's a lemon lime soda, or pop as we refer to it in Canada. Typically we say pop here in Canada, although I have lived in the US before at one point, and I know typically, I don't know if all parts of the US refer to it as soda, but certainly where I lived, which was on Long Island, New York, many years ago, it was definitely known as soda there. Okay, so we've got 2 cups. And we're going to do 2 cups more because it takes 4. And I'm just going to eyeball the garlic powder because I'm not sure how much that will equate to as far as 3 cloves of garlic. I'll just eyeball it. And what I may do is rub some of the spices on one part of the roast and then flip it over with my hands. I'll see. Okay, so that's how it looks so far. So I just basically have to put chili powder, salt, and garlic, and then let it cook. So where's my chili powder? Alright, both my chili powder. I have a roasted garlic and red pepper powder too. If I wanted to, I could probably add some of that to it. I don't know that I will. I might just stick to the recipe for now, just because. Okay, so garlic, I'm not sure how much. Measuring cups I do not need. Oh, they're gonna fall out of the cupboard. Don't need that. It says 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder. A measuring spoon kicking around? I know I do somewhere. Okay, that's my 1/2 teaspoon, so 3 of those. So maybe I'll do one of them on here right now because I'm going to do the other 2 once I flip it over. So that's half a teaspoon for now. And I'm going to do, it's half a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to take, well, it's a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to put half a teaspoon on this side. Okay. And then we're just going to eyeball some garlic powder. Since I don't have minced garlic or cloves of garlic, we're just going to eyeball it. And I'm just going to kind of rub that on there, all over. It actually smells really good. The spices smell nice together. So I'm just going to rub that on. Maybe I might even put just a hint of black pepper on to it. Didn't say in the recipe, but you can't really go wrong with a little bit of pepper, I don't think. There. So now I'm going to flip it over. I know I'm going to get a little bit sticky here, but that's okay. Flip this over. And we're going to put some more rub on the other side. Wash the hands again, even though I'm going to get them messy. That is okay. So we have to do another full teaspoon of chili because it said 1.5 teaspoons and I only put half a teaspoon on the other side. So we're going to do a half, oops, that piece of chili powder just went right in with the broth, but that's fine. So that is our teaspoon. So now we're at 1.5 teaspoons, which is what the recipe called for. Another half teaspoon of salt. I have to fill my salt container. I see it's pretty low. Okay, and we're going to put a little bit of black pepper just because black pepper is usually good standby. And of course, some garlic powder. Garlic is, to me, something you can't really overkill on too easily. So, and I spilled a little bit of pepper on my counter, so I'm going to have to wipe that up. Nothing drastic, but I tried to wipe the counter down before I did this, and now I've got a mess going again. Okay, let me rub this in as best I can. No, it's not going to go all the way down the sides. The roast is probably going to wind up going in. Okay, now. I'm not going to put any more pop in there. I think that is sufficient. I'm going to stick with the 4 cups that it says. That's lots of juice already. Okay, there we go. Get the lid on this, and I think I'm going to up this to high because if I don't, being that it's 118 already, it is going to take all day to cook as it is. So I think it would be best if I turn it up to high just so that we're not eating at 10 o'clock tonight. We might be as it is, but let's see if I can help this along a little bit if I can. The spices smell good, at least. I bet you if I would have put this roasted red pepper and garlic spice in there, it would have probably also been quite good. That is this, because it has garlic in it too. Roasted garlic and peppers. It would have been a nice touch too. Maybe partway through I could add a little sprinkle of that to it. We'll see. So then all it has to do is just cook. And then once it looks like it is done after several hours, you take probably a meat fork, whatever, and just shred it all up. And then you juice 2 limes and mix the juice of 2 limes in with the meat. And you can serve it over mashed potatoes or on a sub bun or a hamburger bun, whatever you would like, or maybe even with rice. But probably potatoes or a bun would probably be the best bet, I would think. Okay, so just before I show you, that is how it's looking in the pot. I didn't attempt to try and rub the spice down onto the side of the roast just because if I do, it'll probably just wind up falling into the juice. So just, there's spice rub on the bottom, spice rub on the top. Let it go right with that for right now. Maybe partway through I'll flip it over because it is quite a thick roast. But for right now, I'm just going to let it go and let it cook. And even just the chili powder and garlic powder and salt and pepper, just that alone smells nice. So I'm sure this is actually, I mean, although I've never made it before, I'm quite sure this should be pretty flavorful. You can never really seem to go wrong with like garlic powder, chili powder, salt and pepper, the basics. Those spices I use in a lot of things. You can never really seem to go wrong with those. Okay, so that is it for the moment. I now have to get on with finishing up any interior Halloween decorating I need to do, and actually probably sit down and relax for a bit. I didn't get much sleep last night with worrying about the birds and stuff, so the outside decorations are not something I have to do. I'm going to leave that for my husband to finish up. And then he's got to go pick my daughter up from work in a couple hours and take her and the birds to the vet. So those are things that they have to take care of, not me. So that's off my plate at least. Because 5 o'clock vet appointment, that's when the trick-or-treaters will start to come. So I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to do some laundry and let this cook in the background. And I will come back in a little while, in a few hours, and show you how it's coming along. Maybe I won't wait until it's done. Maybe I'll show you after a couple hours just how it's looking partway through once it starts to really, once it starts to cook through a little bit. It should, after a couple hours, you should start to see a little difference. Right now, it's very obviously a raw roast in there, but in a couple hours, you should see some difference, although it won't be ready to eat until well into this evening. So I'll come back in a couple hours and show you how it's looking partway through. Alrighty, it is 3:45 in the afternoon. I'm just going to check in and show you how it's doing. I'm going to probably turn this over a little bit here because it's such a thick roast, but that's how it's looking so far. I've turned it down to low. It looks nice and brown. It's cooking well. Smells good. I'm going to turn it over here in a minute. I wonder where my tongs went. They're probably in the dishwasher. Yeah, there they are. This is going to be interesting trying to do this one-handed. Preferably felt not splashing myself too. Okay, oh, there we go. Oh, there goes the juice. That's what I was trying to avoid. It's all over the lid. At least that's as far as I went, was just the lid, I think. Okay, let me do this and I'll come back in a second. All right, yeah, that definitely wasn't one of my smarter moments, trying to turn that over one-handed. So I put it down for a second, turned it off, turned it over. As you can see, I got some juice spilled on the counter. I gotta wipe that up. But that's how it's looking. This end right here looks very pink through the camera. It really isn't. It really doesn't look like that when I'm just looking at it with my eyes. I don't know why it looks like that. If I have to, I'll stand it up a little bit to make sure that end gets properly cooked too. But honestly, the pink that you're seeing there, it really doesn't look like that it only looks like that through the camera. It doesn't look like that in reality. So anyway, I'm going to do this for a little while longer. It's only 10 to 4 right now, so I'm just going to let this cook. Oh, another couple hours on low like this, and maybe if it's still, I may even stand it up at some point just to make sure that that end really does get cooked through well. Although honestly, it really does not look pink like that. It only does through the camera. I don't really know why it does. Same thing back here. It's probably just the lighting. If I had this under the counter light on right now, it probably wouldn't look so bad. It just needs, obviously it's a big thick roast, as you can see. It needs more time to cook, and this all is from the splash from when I tried to turn it over. So those are just some of the greens of the spices. But I'm going to put the lid back on and let it cook for a few more hours on low, and because it definitely has a ways to go yet. But that's how it's looking so far at about the 2.5 hour mark. So, and it was 2.5 hours on high at that point. It will take a good while yet, especially since I've reduced it to low, but that's okay. It smells good, and I'm sure it'll taste good. Just have to be patient. It's going to take a few more hours yet. All right, it is now 7:10 in the evening, and this is coming along really nicely. I think this should hopefully be done by 8 o'clock. It looks really good, smells really, really good. And again, with the lighting, I mean, this little thing on the end here, like it looks pink right there on the end. It really is not. It's quite brown. It smells good. I have this on now since 1:30 this afternoon. So once it's done, we're going to have to like cut it open and shred it, and then I'll juice the 2 limes and mix the lime juice in. Again, I'm turning it back up to high until like 8 o'clock, 8:30, somewhere in that range, and then I'll turn it off and shred up the meat and put the lime juice in, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's all said and done. I haven't peeled potatoes, haven't really had time. I've kind of been dealing with trick-or-treaters at the door and stuff, so I haven't really done anything as far as potatoes. We could probably just have it on bread, or maybe even some rice or something like that, or if we have any mini potatoes in the fridge, maybe we could cut those up and boil them. I'll have to check and see if we have some of those. That'd be easier than having to stop and peel potatoes. So we'll see. I'm going to put the lid back on. I let it cook at 7:10. I'll let it cook till about 8:30 or so. Back on high again. Turn the heat back up and let it hopefully finish. Hopefully it will have cooked all the way through by that point, because at that point it'll have been 7 hours. So we'll see how it turns out. But it smells really good. Okay, it is now 8:30. I have tried my best to shred this roast. I don't think I shredded it very well. I cut it up at least in the crock pot. I don't think it's totally shredded. Definitely not. Got some stuff on the counter here. Got some potatoes boiling. They should be ready to mash shortly. It'll be a late supper. This is definitely not shredded, but it's cooked through. It's cut up decently at least. I've got a plate of raw veggies here, and now I just have to juice 2 limes and put the juice of 2 limes in there. That's my last step. You're not on the tripod right now, so we'll see how this goes. Plus I'm holding my phone with the left hand. The limes smell good, at least. I'll have to stir the juice in there. Rather than make some cooked corn or something tonight for a vegetable, I'm just going to make that plate of raw veggies. I have enough cooking going on right now, so. Plus, there still have been some trick-or-treaters in the last half hour, too. So if any more are going to come, it'll be between now and 9 o'clock, and that should be the last of them, so I don't want to miss any that come. Okay, that's 3 halves. 1 more half to go, and then we're done. Every time I restart it, it changes direction. Okay, that should be pretty good. I gotta take this top off here. There's all my juice in the bottom. Just put that in there for now. Okay, we'll go add this. Blast of that in there. Grab a wooden spoon to stir it in. And then basically we're just waiting for the potatoes to be ready to mash and we're ready to eat. This should definitely give a good bit of leftovers too. So it smells really good. I keep saying that, but because it really does. So I'll have to plate up here in a little bit once the potatoes are ready to go and then let you know how everything is. Or show you what it looks like on the plate at least. I'll just turn this down to warm. And that'll be it. Get my lid back on. Okay. And that should only take another, hopefully 10 minutes or so. So hopefully by 8:45 we can start eating. Alrighty. Alright, it is now 8:49 in the evening. It's a very late supper. I ended up making some corn after all because I'm a glutton for punishment. Apparently I just couldn't not cook anymore. So I needed to go that little extra mile and do one more thing. A mess from that juice on the counter. Okay, so I'm going to scoop up some potatoes on my plate. Unfortunately, I think I had a little too much milk to the potatoes, so they're a little more runny than what I would normally do for mashed potatoes, but it's okay. What I'm going to do is make a little bed, and I'm going to put my meat on top. My meat and some of the juice on top. As I said, apparently I didn't do a really good job of shredding it, but that's okay. I can use a knife and fork. And yeah, I probably didn't need that much juice, but that's fine. And I'm going to bring the corn over. I'm just going to take a scoop. And I'll add that to my plate. Put that back on the stove. All the burners are off, but of course the surface will be hot for a while. I'll bring this down here. Add a few veggies to my plate. Just some raw ones. Some snap peas. Slice of tomato. Carrot. And that is good. And that is it. And now it's time to call the family for dinner. Let them dish up their plates as well. And that is it. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And if you would like the actual recipe, I can type it up in the comments or what have you, because I haven't taken the time to do that just yet. But it's quite simple, really. I mean, it was just a matter of using lemon lime, 4 cups of lemon lime pop, 1.5 teaspoons chili powder, 1 teaspoon salt, 3 cloves of garlic, or in my case, I just used garlic powder to taste, and I also used a bit of black pepper. And then after cooking it all day in the crock pot, you can also cook it in the oven too, but I did it in the crock pot all day, and after that, I just juiced 2 limes and mixed that juice in with this, and it is ready to go. As long as you use the lemon lime pop, whether it be Sprite or 7-Up or what have you, that's the key ingredient there, and some spices. And now I'm having it over mashed potatoes with some corn and some fresh veggies, and that's it. Time to have my supper. and call the family to dinner. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, do feel free to subscribe if you're new, leave a comment down below, and of course, give this a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video, everyone. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend and has a good week ahead. See you next time.